Good morning, good afternoon. We are talking of why small cars not performing to potential. And second point which follows from this is there a way out? Now, if we look at small cars, there are various definitions of small cars. One is by SIAM, which talks of the micro and the mini segment till 3,600 millimeter length. And then there's a marketing definition which has been used for over the years, which calls it a A-segment car. But our definition will be slightly different for the discussion. We'll focus on small cars which have a length of 3,600 millimeter, engine capacity below a liter, and a price around 3 lakhs. That is what we'll take for our discussion. Now let's take history because of how the small car has progressed over the years. There's old English saying that those who don't learn from history stand condemned by it. So we don't want to be condemned by history. Pre-1983 era, in the year 1983, the total cars sold in the country were only 50,000 a year, which translates to nearly 4,000 a month. And this was by Fiat and Ambassador. And that was the very year when Maruti made its debut in December 83. Maruti came with the Maruti 800 in 83, followed with the Omni in 84, and much later with the Zen in 93. But if you look at it from 83 to 90, the market of small cars really grew because people discovered a new way of moving. The concept of motorization, which was very dormant, latent, came to the forefront. But the real action in India, still India was a closed economy. There were restrictions in terms of foreign players coming in, technology coming in terms of investment. But 91 was a watershed year in the Indian economy. When the Indian economy opened up because of liberalization, the famous budget of Manmohan Singh. And we saw after that in 94, a lot of foreign players coming into India. There were General Motors, Ford was there, Honda was there, Toyota was there, but they probably all came with slightly larger cars. But the action really started hotting up in the small car segment in 1998 and 99. That was the year 98 when Santro from Hyundai and Matiz from Daewoo came in. Two small, not exactly small cars. Matiz was 800cc, Santro was 1000cc, plus they were focusing on the small car market. And Indica also came in a year down the line, although it was not by small car in dimensions by any means, but the whole definition, the whole focus in the market was more car per car, and they were focusing on small car market. And then we had the WagonR, which came in later in 97, 99. So 4 players, Matiz from Daewoo, Santro from Hyundai, Indica from Tata Motors, focusing on the small car market, and WagonR to reinforce the Maruti portfolio. Let's look what the government did. So there was a lot of action, but I think the next phase which we really want to focus on is the phase around 2007 and 8. And that was a time when the governments came out with this automotive mission plan. This mission plan was rolled out in 2007. It was for the year 2008 and 16. And I'd like to draw attention on one key point of the mission plan, which was there to make India a global hub for small cars. Simultaneously, 98, with the intention of focusing and giving special benefit to small cars, government came out with a definition of classification, whereby cars below 4 meter length and which are 1.2 liters in petrol or 1.5 liters in diesel qualified for lower excise duty. So 97, 98, 2 major decisions. The automotive mission plan focusing on clearly making India a global hub, and then the 4 meter definition coming in to give a special fillip, impetus, or as a catalyst to the small car market. The next stage clearly was the historic launch of Nano. This was in 2009, and Nano was supposed to be the world car to redefine what small car market is, not only in India, but internationally. Hyundai also reinforced its product portfolio with the launch of Eon in 2011. And 2010, General Motors, which was in the market, had the Spark, which was also on the small car market. So 3 new products, the Nano, the Eon, and the Spark were there. And if I take a particular year, 2011 and 12, the small car market was going great guns. I will just read out the figures for you of 2011 and 12, just to show you what was the dominance of small cars. Alto Maruti 800, because Maruti 800 was also available that time along with Alto, 3,30,000. Eon, 70,000. Nano, 70,000. And Spark from General Motors, 25,000, which makes it 4,95,000, or virtually 5 lakhs. So approximately at the time of the 14 lakh market, 5 lakhs was coming from small cars, which was a contribution of 40%. And we believed that the time for small cars has come and India is going to dominate, and the small car motorization, which we talked of, is going to go on full steam. Also, there were some interesting times. Around the same time, we also heard that Renault was planning a small car, and they were in discussions with Bajaj at that point of time. Daihatsu was talking a lot, which was a subsidiary of Toyota, to come with their small car in where they compete with Suzuki in Japan. And Renault Duster also from the Nissan stable was planned. So 11 and 12, action happening on ground, 5 lakhs vehicle coming in, and announcements galore. So if you were a journalist or you were an observer of the auto market or you were a customer, you would say the time for small cars has come. But let's see what happened over the years. Somehow things didn't work out the way it was supposed to. Nano, after a slightly good start, started petering out, and the product virtually was at the stage of extinction in 2015. Eon, which came from the Hyundai stable, also was phased out in 2018. Spark, much before General Motors exited India, was also phased out. And we had said the Daihatsu, which was coming from Toyota, that finally never came. So it was like waiting for Godot, it never came. And Alto, in spite of all the competitions going on, same gear, reverse gear, or stopping gear, their volumes actually started falling. So this was a curious case. So where was the small car dream? Was it working out properly or not? And if we look at the motorization figure and take a step straight down today, what is our motorization in our country? Our penetration is still around 20 per thousand. The two-wheeler to four-wheeler ratio, this is an important ratio which I would like to emphasize. For every four-wheeler sold, there are 6 two-wheelers sold in India. Generally, there is an understanding, or there is a worldwide phenomena, that when motorization in a country increases or enhanced, the ratio of two-wheeler to four-wheeler declines. At present, nowhere in the world, the ratio is 6:1. Most of the countries, it is 1:1, 2:1. And if at times in African countries, you assume it is higher, but they have also import of second-hand cars. So some way the motorization or the shift from two-wheelers to four-wheelers was sliding down. Another fact, when I talked of the figure of 2011 and 12, we talked of 35 to 40% contribution from small cars. And if I fast forward it and come to today, in 1920, or even let's take a month of October, which was a record month, of the 310,000 vehicles sold in the domestic market, the total small car sold was hardly 30,000, which included Alto, Espresso, Redigo, Quid. This was there. So effectively, the small car, which was contributing 40%, is now contributing 10%. The motorization speed has slowed down. The ratio of two-wheelers and four-wheelers is remaining constant. So it's important to see, to understand why the small car market is declining. And there are a number of reasons for it. The first reason is less players in the market. Any marketing person will tell you that when you have more players, more competition, there is more excitement, more innovation, more messaging, and the segment grows. You've seen it in compact SUVs, what's happening these days. Effectively, with Hyundai exiting the small car market, Nano being folded up, Tata even with Indica also out, they are only focusing on 5 lakh plus market, General Motors out of the market, Renault after a great launch with Kwid, and Nissan with Ready Go. If you combine the two numbers even, they're hardly 5,000. So somehow there is no, it's just a one pony race. They generally, we call it two pony race. Maruti is there with about 25,000 volumes and the rest is 5,000. So less players. If you have less players, you have less excitement, less innovation happening. Second, I think what's important to understand is what was started happening in 2018 when we talked of this entire concept of emission safety. Today, a small car has to have an ABS, an ABD, a seat sensor, a remote camera, all these things which are part of a small car. So the increase in small car prices in percentage terms is much higher. Generally, the increase because of these these norms for emissions and safety has been to the tune of 25 and 30% because of the low base. But when you go to higher segment, it doesn't happen. So what is happening on account of that? One, clearly the price is rising. Second, the price gap between small cars and the next segment, which we call as subcompact cars, is declining. And this is made even more difficult with more attractive financing schemes available and people calculate in EMI terms, so that the die is cast heavily against small cars. The second part, which is clearly coming out, is the aspiration part. When you talk to a lot of people, the people say that we want something new. It's a worldwide phenomenon. Aspiration is growing. We want style, we want features. And somehow these you can get in the next segment. So this aspiration, drive, this imagery, all has moved to the next segment. And somehow it has become a de facto as an entry-level car. It is suffering. The Ola Uber phenomena has actually dented the small cars. Generally, if you see and you talk to people, not only in cities, but even in small towns where Ola Uber has gone, there may be a recent aberration in the last 6 months. But today, if you needed a vehicle, most people needed the vehicle once or twice a week for their family. And that was a time when they needed a car. But today, you can continue without it. You can take an Ola Uber in the weekend, not only in the big cities, but also in the small cities. One thing which you must understand, whatever shocks we get in the economy, whether it was GST, whether it's demonetization, or whether it's the COVID, the segment which is impacted the most is the small shopkeeper, trader, small producer. And this was the natural constituency of the small car market. That is also is working adversely to small car. And last but not the least, the lofty aspirations of the government of India that India has to be a small car hub. Because even in developing markets like Africa, either they go to the next segment car, or at the same price point, they can get imported cars from Japan or USA, which are 3-4 years at the same price. So market there also is not there. If you go through the export figures of cars, which are nothing very substantial, and you look at the entry-level car figures, they hardly come to 2,000-3,000 a month. So even if a company wanted to set up a plant in India, not only look at the domestic market, but look at the global market, that also works negatively. Now, if I see all the entire scenario, you will say, then the game is up. But I think we can't give up. Is there a way out? Yes, there is a way out. The task is not easy. It is quite challenging, but there are certain steps to be taken. If they are taken, it can revive the market. Let's look at this definition of small cars, which was below 4 meters, 1200 cc in petrol, 1500 cc in diesel. Today, all manufacturers are smart enough. You are having vehicles, whether it is from Hyundai, whether it's the Venue, or whether it's a Sonet from Kia, or whether it's the XUV300 from Mahindra, and even it's also a Vitara from Maruti. all these vehicles are meeting the norm. So effectively, they are on the same taxation bracket. And the surprising fact is, which you've seen the last 1 year, some of these cars are now being added with features, specs of luxury cars. So it's a strange phenomena. Cars of 12 lakhs and 13 lakhs, which are feature loaded, are also having the same benefit which a car of 2.5 lakh has. So there is no advantage for a typical small car. And people, when the petrol engine has been a challenge for 1200 cc, so most companies have worked a new phenomena out. If you look at, people are getting turbocharged low cc engines, so they're meeting the norm. So effectively, nothing is working out on this end. The announcement of the government in 2008 of giving a lower excise duty and now a lower GST for cars below 4 meters length and engine capacities of 1.2 and 1.5 liters diesel has not created a level playing field. What has happened is a lot of cars, especially in the compact SUV segments, meet these criteria now. They've designed the cars accordingly, they've designed the engines accordingly, they've got turbocharged engines. So you have cars of selling at the price of 12 to 13 lakhs, which are also enjoying the same GST or tax benefits or the tax regime, what is for cars at 3 lakh price. So it's an uneven playing field. The idea is, if you need to drive motorization, if you need to enhance the market at the bottom of the pyramid, you need to create a new segment. Already SIAM has those classifications. So if you create a segment of below 3,600 mm in length terms, cubic capacity in engine terms at 1 liter, you can have a lower GST, somewhere in the region of 18% or 15% or 12%, which will bring down prices of small car substantially and increase the motorization. This is very much required because the 4 meter length, you are selling premium cars virtually in the 4 meter length capacity. So there is not a benefit on that count. The second part is the road tax registration is not part of the GST at this particular time. And the road tax registration is constant for all cars below 4 meters. So if the central government instructs, goads, motivates the state governments that you need to have a lower road tax, instead of 10% normally, have it 5%, this will also impact. So the double benefit of a lower GST for vehicles below a certain engine capacity and a certain length, coupled with a lower road tax, will bring the price substantially down and bring a lot of people within the ambit, still in their dreams, aspirations, to move to a small car. Second is financing. Financing, to my mind, has been the biggest lever for expanding the market. But today, if you look at the financing aspects, today we have the CIBIL scores. And when I talk to financiers, they tell me that the rejection rate, because of the enforcement of CIBIL rules or CIBIL laws or CIBIL scores, works against the small cars. Their rejection is as high as 30 to 40% as compared to 10 to 15%. So probably we'll have to have, since there's an asset which we are financing, a slightly lower CIBIL score, or the banks need to be nudged or told they have to be slightly liberal. There used to be this concept of 7-year loan period, 84 months loan, which made the EMI more affordable. I'm not seeing it in practice more. Can it be put into a practice more, which is important? Another wish would be that could we have a lower tax or lower rate of interest? That I think is not possible. But I am seeing a new phenomena. People in at least the NBFCs in the small cars have slightly a higher interest rate. So financing, the lever of financing has to be used to the advantage of small cars. Coupled with the price benefit and the financing ease availability, this can help in a lot of people who are not at this point of time aspiring for car. The third thing is about messaging. A lot of people say, sir, today the person wants very evolved, the Indian customer is very demanding, they want to move up, they go straight to the vehicle 4 lakh car. This is something which is there. There are used cars also available. So why should a person buy a small car? The point which I want to say, and which is important, is there was a dream, there was an aspiration of owning a small car. I still remember a very famous advertising tagline of a small car ad which said, "Kal aankhon mein thi, aaj haathon mein hai, mera sapna," which meant that yesterday it was a dream, now it's a reality. There are a large segment of India which want to move in to the four-wheeler, but the price gap between a two-wheeler and four-wheeler is large, or even that their entry into the small car is difficult. This messaging, creating that aspiration, creating the desire, creating that family feeling, creating this concept of safety, I think somehow I'm not seeing this messaging very strong, because it is not about features. Today we are caught up in the war of features, specs, but somehow that I need to have four wheels. The pride, the pleasure of having a four wheel in the family is still unique to an Indian lower middle class dream. So I think here it's the job of the people, especially the companies which are in small car market, to focus on this so as to get a mind share. If they can get a mind share, there would be some development as far as market share will follow. And last but not the least, I talked of a certain point that one of the problems which we're having is that the number of players have vacated this segment. And when you have lesser players, there is less novelty, there is less innovation, and there is less styling. So I think the time has come to have some innovation in the product. I remember 15, 20 years back, people used to say, if I buy a small car, the average is 18 kilometers. If I buy a slightly bigger car, the fuel efficiency is 10 kilometers. Today, if you look at the ARI figures or any figures of fuel consumption, whether it's a small car or medium car, they haven't changed. Where is the innovation coming in small cars? Is there a need for something new? Why can't we have a hybrid in small car which can give a fuel efficiency of 30 kilometers and then give that benefit of hybrid which can qualify for 30 kilometers at a much lower? You have 5% electric vehicles. Why can't it be 10% for a hybrid small car? It can really help. So there is also the need for more innovation, more out of the box thinking, because we are not thinking as an industry something very different. So this is the same product remodeled, recycled, rebatched, which is moving in. So these are the things which will help. I'm not saying it will dramatically change, not that we'll come to 35, 40%, but clearly if the steps are taken, the companies which are in small car can increase their sales. Second, a lot of people who are not interested in this segment now because they feel it doesn't have a proposition, the ticket item is low, they can also start getting interested. The great dream, the Indian dream of owning a four-wheeler, moving from two wheels to four wheels, driving motorization is still there, but that dream is suppressed. How can we bring the suppressed dream to the surface, from the latent and dormant to the dynamic thing, and move it up? It is a challenging situation. It is difficult times, but history will judge us accordingly. If we can take these steps, it will move up. Otherwise, 2-3 years down the line, we'll be talking of 4-5%, and this segment might fade out. That's what I say. So a lot of points to think, to ponder. There can be a lot of criticism, critique on what I've said. People will agree, disagree, but that's the only way out. And let me tell you, by getting products at 8-10 lakhs, the market shares will keep changing, volumes keep changing. The concept of motorization, the concept of growth of Indian car market, which is supposed to touch 5 lakhs, which is nowhere near the horizon, which is the 5 million vehicles we are talking of, is there. This is the only way out. So history will judge us accordingly. I think, whether it's the government, whether the industry, whether the companies, need to pull up their socks and to look at this direction and to build slowly and steadily the small car market again. Thank you.